Hi, gorgeous.
It's so pretty.
Likewise, taking a shower is like a real thing.
Uh-huh.
It's I took an unintended Wim Hof experience. My hot water heater wasn't working and it's a
Oh,
rainy
okay.
day. So
Uh-huh.
I am effing refreshed.
Oh, that's why that does it for you.
Yeah, unfortunately. So I am super fresh. Super fresh.
Bueno,
How you doing, boo?
good, good. It's funny you said that you're like, I guess I'll shower. I was like, I wore more. Now I wear eye makeup because I'm like eyeliner. I'm on this camera. I'm like, whatever. Let me live it. Let me just be as
Right?
fabulous as I want to be. Like I can
Absolutely.
smell and then I can wear eyeliner.
I sometimes I put on deodorant even for a video call. I just like I know if I smell good, then I'm just going to show up differently. I know you can't smell me from here,
Mhm.
but I don't even want to smell me from here.
Yeah.
So definitely, yeah. I put on eyeliner too, and I was reflecting on this that RuPaul has a master class. Have you
Uh-huh.
seen this?
I've seen bits of it, but I haven't watched the whole thing.
He is delicious, and I was thinking like how much I learned about how to be myself from RuPaul.
That's awesome. Did you
Yeah,
take the master class?
I took the master class. Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's not, I would say like 93% of it was just totally golden. Um,
That's a pretty high percentage.
it's pretty high percentage. Yeah. So it was good. I'm going to hit some buttons here and get live on Facebook. I'm recording this whole thing. And if you're willing, I'm just going to put it on YouTube too
Yeah,
for the F of it, right? We're here.
of course.
All right.
Yeah.
Um, groovy, groovy. See, I tried this last week and it worked, and then I tried it the other day and it didn't work. So we're just gonna go with it. It's gonna work.
Hmm.
And yeah. Hmm,
Meet again, Sarah, after all these
yeah,
years.
I know. Love it. Okay.
Me too. It's pretty special.
It is special. Like, okay, I think we're going live. This is it. Live with Gooch.
Yes.
Okay. And I think Eden may wake up in the next couple of minutes, and we will just be present with that,
Gooch loves the kids.
right?
I haven't seen her.
Nothing like a nothing like a 5-year-old to teach you how to be present.
Mm.
Holy shnikes. All right, Bubba. I think we are live-ish. So, my darling, let's do this. Friends, loved ones, community, strangers. Um, every week, we're going to be getting to know a woman in our community from around the world, and she's going to be shining her magic and bringing value to all of us just because that's what we do here. We love on each other and we thrive together. So today, Leah Gooch, who actually I know in person, I've known for more years than I'm not even sure.
5,
years?
four,
Five?
four,
Four.
5.
I think we're at 4 now.
Yeah.
Anyway, we met once upon a time when she was interning at the yoga studio that I started in Medellin, Colombia. And we got to work together and play together and learn together. And she's here with us because she does this really awesome thing that she's going to share about with us. So, Leah, introduce yourself. Tell us why you're amazing. Tell us about 4-minute meditation and anything else you want to just bring because
Awesome.
you're awesome. Welcome, love.
Thanks, Sarah. It's great to be here. It's good to meet all of you all via the interwebs. Which is pretty, it's been amazing how like we can connect to so many people from different places in our lives and different parts of the world. So it's like this message may resonate with you and we've never met before physically. And like, it would have been difficult for us to physically meet, maybe, the likelihood of that. But then now we're here and it's like, and next thing you know, there's like this awakening that happens. So that's kind of what I'm excited about, sharing this meditation because that is what helped things sort of click into place for me and continues. It's not like, it's kind of like brushing your teeth meditation. Like you can't just brush your teeth for half an hour and be like, I'm good for the week. Like it's a daily practice. And so it sort of just kind of cleans out things in your mind, and allows you to sort of recenter and discern the difference between yourself and your thoughts. So there's, if we are our thoughts, then who's observing our thoughts? We're observers of the thoughts. So the 4-minute meditations that I've been sending out for the last 59 days started because a friend of mine was like, why not, you know what I really like tomorrow? Is to wake up and have a meditation, a short little 4-minute meditation in my inbox, guided by you. And I kind of felt like, well, I thought I could easily do that. I guide meditation very briefly in prison, which is where I work, and I work with teenagers. So every time I'm in a prison, I we circle up before they go and play and work out and stuff. And so we have a short meditation, and it's guided, and then we're silent, and then we settle, we reconnect to each other, and then where we are physically, and then they go and have their rec time. So I've been guiding meditation regularly for people who are in prison. So when this pandemic happened, it was sort of this interesting moment where I realized, like, oh, this is kind of what I do, is like talk to people who feel like they're kind of trapped. So that's how it started. I sent a meditation that night to 14 friends, including my friend that gave me the like little push along, and I said, I'm going to do this for 2 weeks. And then the list was doubling every other day, which is more and more people and then I thought, well, this is growing. And so now there's, I think, 230 people on the list. And it's the 60th day of doing it, or 59th day. And it's pretty amazing to hear who is receiving them and who's doing them. People that are like, this is helping me so much. I started writing. I have gone through so many workshops, and I was so shut down and kind of closed off that I would go to all these like fancy schmancy gurus, but then it was these 4-minute meditations that were allowed me to sort of feel safe, and invited me back into being present, which can be a really uncomfortable place to be. It usually is kind of uncomfortable, but with that discomfort comes these other really magical moments of awareness.
I love that you brought up the discomfort of things, because I think one of the things that I'm hoping that we can do here is do a little demystifying about mindfulness and meditation. And one of the misperceptions of meditation that I used to have, and I still stumble into sometimes, and I hear a lot, is that, if I'm doing it right, it shouldn't be uncomfortable. And so people arrive to this place and they're like, oh God, like my inner self is really uncomfortable. I must be doing it wrong, or I just don't want to be uncomfortable. So I'm going to go be comfortable and do Netflix instead, or, fill in the blank, disconnection,
Mm-hmm.
to feel more comfort, or to feel nothing, actually, to feel numb. I'd rather feel numb than connected and uncomfortable. What do you want to riff on about that, Bo?
I want to riff on the fact that I got to blow my candle out because it's making a weird noise, and I got to just blow it out real quick.
Yeah, blow out your candles. Light a candle if you're watching this. Ooh, Leah's going to blow out her candle. I've got construction next door, so I'm going to mute myself when I'm not talking so you all don't hear the buildings
I
going
heard a
up.
little bit of that. It wasn't too loud, though. So when you're talking about the discomfort, if you could think of, just look back in your life, and if you could think of a moment in your life that was challenging, and at the time it felt so overwhelmingly catastrophic in a way that you weren't really sure how you were going to get through it, but it was so big that there was no other option. It was so expansive, but it was your reality. So for as long as you were alive, this was a thing that was going to have to be dealt with. And maybe it's something that came up kind of, it was like a chronic sort of pain or situation, or maybe it was something all of a sudden that happened where your whole life just flipped upside down. And so, as long as you were alive, there was no way that you could not move through it and face it. And then now think of where you are now and what you learned from getting through that obstacle. And then think back to that little young girl or younger man, women, younger girl. And what would you say to that little girl when she was looking at this obstacle? So if you could think of like one line, what would you say? And then every time before you want to meditate and you're like, I don't really want to, it's scary, I don't want to feel like that's uncomfortable. I have so many other things I can do. Say that same thing that you would say to that little girl. Because when you're meditating, you're practicing bringing yourself back to this present moment, being aware of being alive, which is insane. It's wild that the whole thing is wild. And it can be really uncomfortable sometimes, overwhelmingly beautiful at other times. So if you miss out on the opportunity, if you miss and you avoid sitting in the discomfort, you miss the beauty of this life. So just you got to remind yourself of the same thing you'd say to that little girl that got through that obstacle.
And I love that in that self-compassion, that self-communication too, is like, it's one of the gifts that I've gotten from mindfulness is noticing even my own reactions to myself. And you know, I'm not gonna hit that little girl, but in my own thoughts, I used to be mean to the me that, you know, and I love, and being mean to oneself, you're not in life, you're not fully engaged and participating, right? You become this sort of battered version of yourself. And sitting with the discomfort allowed for me to even notice the relationship I had with myself, which was pretty nasty. And you know, and from there, the willingness to be uncomfortable and to sit with discomfort, it leads to, oh my gosh, all of life, all of life. There's a couple folks tuning in watching. So Angela said, yeah, honestly, meditation is life. So many people lack understanding about it and think that they have to be without thought or feeling, and that's not it at all. Yes, zoning out in a book or Netflix or whatever, because of the rampant overwhelm of senses, and it's okay to do that. But we have to balance into the breathing and allowing the thoughts and feelings and the selves, plural, to flow, our plural selves. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All those different voices, for sure.
Do you want to 4-minute meditate us with us?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Magic all around y'all. All right, so you can find a comfortable position wherever you are. And if you're standing up, that's fine. If you're sitting down, perfect. And just adjust yourself. And I, as a natural yoga practitioner, I love a good stretch. So you can bring your shoulders up by your ears and bring them back and down. Move your head around, stretching out the sides of your neck. And then feel your feet on the floor. And so just feel your toes, and maybe they're in socks, maybe they're in shoes, maybe they're barefoot. And just feel where your feet are connecting to the floor. And here you can close your eyes if you want, or if it's more comfortable, you can find one point to focus on and stare at that point if you want to keep your eyes open. And then bring your awareness back onto your feet, and just knowing that your feet are grounded on the earth. And then bringing your awareness gently up your legs, through your knees, relaxing your hips, up through your belly, feeling your belly rise and fall with your inhale and exhale. Notice the sensations in your back, in your lower back, and trying whatever judgments come up, to not try not to label, or when you see or notice that you're labeling a sensation, allow that label to just come and then go, and come back to the awareness of the sensation, and knowing that whatever you feel is perfect. And then bring your awareness to your middle back and up to your upper back and out through your arms, past your elbows, into your wrists, down into your fingertips. Good. And then now come back to your upper back and imagine you're almost growing wings, or it's expanding in strength. So it's not so much from tightening, but instead expanding out, protecting you, protecting your heart. And then bring your awareness to your heart. And can you notice how that feels? What does the space around your chest feel like? Maybe an image comes to mind, colors, shape, or nothing, and that's perfectly okay. But now can you imagine that there is a ball of light that's above your heart, it's around your heart. And with each inhale, imagine that that ball of light expands. And then as you exhale, that light travels further around your body. And then again, inhaling, the light around your heart expands. And then on the exhale, that light is cast all over your body like a glow that's surrounding your body, almost like an auric armor. Good, and then you can bring your awareness. Then that keeps happening. It's inhaling, bringing that light in, expanding it, exhaling into the point that your whole body is surrounded by that light. Allowing your jaw to soften. That too, your whole face is surrounded by that light, the back of your head, and then up through the top of your head. Imagine the top of your head is opening up, and that light, that energy is coming up through your body, connecting to the sky, an infinite source of energy. So that you're no longer having to create it or grow it. You have connection to infinite source of this energy with open channels for it to travel through your body. And we're going to stay here for just 2 minutes. So you can, when your mind wanders, which it will, because you have a mind, you just gently bring it back to either an anchor of your choice, whether it's your breath, that feeling of a light surrounding you, or the sensation of your body, some part of your body, like your feet on the ground. Whatever feels right for you, and we'll sit for just 2 minutes. Coming back, feeling the sensation of the toes on the ground. And then with your eyes still closed, if they are closed, you can take your hands and rub them together, feeling the exchange of that energy between your two hands. And then you can place your hands on anywhere in your body that you want send a little extra love. So maybe it's your heart, maybe it's your brain, maybe it's your knee. Just take a moment to send that energy to that part of your body. And then take a moment to thank yourself for taking the time out of your day to do this healing practice. And you can open your eyes, taking in the colors, the textures. Namaste.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Thank you, love. I loved your earlier reference to meditation like brushing your teeth, because yeah, I want to fall into that trap of like, oh, I did it the other day, but the literally how I feel right now is more awake, more connected, even more aware of where I'm out of alignment, because I talk a lot about self-care, and but I can't take care of myself if I don't know which shoulder hurts or what I'm hungry for, or what's going on in my physical self, or even and especially what's going on in my mental, emotional, like what am I anxious about, where am I really angry, what's stirring. If I don't know those things, then I can't attend to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so all the self-care in the world, we hear about it all the time, self-care, self-care, self-care. If you don't know who that is and how she's doing right now, maybe you need a bath, but maybe you need to go for a run, or maybe you need to journal or yell at something. Like, we don't know. So
that's awesome. I never really thought about it like that, and that's dead on. That's so true. That's it, because the thing is, like, our bodies have so much, and you know this, I know, because you're all into the science. Our bodies have so much information, and like that, it is not speaking English or whatever language you're speaking. It is not speaking that language. It is on some other quantum physics language that you got to decode, and nobody else can decode it for you. You have the passwords. You have the whole. It's like a whole ones and zeros that you have to decode. And until you are open to reading that, it's locked up. But then as soon, yeah, go ahead.
it's locked up, but it's also shouting, right? Our bodies are shouting at us all the time. We're just, for the most part, not learning the language or not listening.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what distraction is so good for, actually, is to be like, la 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 la, I don't want to know, I don't want to hear, I don't want to have to respond. Yesterday I gave a presentation to some of the staff members at the UN High Commission on Refugees here in Medellin, because it was amazing, because they're getting ready to go back to working in the field, and they have like high levels of anxiety and stress and concerns. And we talked a lot about what we do when we're stressed to moderate that stress. And it's, the go-tos are like anything with a screen,
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, Instagram, Netflix, blah, blah, blah. An extra glass of wine just to sort of take the edge off, right? I have a headache or something sort of hurts. I don't want to feel it, so I'm going to take some small pill and just not feel. Or coffee, like all these things to sort of regulate our moods and sensations. I'm tired. Well, you should sleep if you're tired, right? But we take coffee instead. Like, I'm guilty of it too. I totally do this. But when I can be like, well, I could just lie down for 20 minutes. I don't even have to sleep. When I read myself and don't give in to those instinctual distractions. And one of the women that was on the call with me, she's like, I don't do those other things. I don't Netflix binge or anything. She's like, I work, and work is such an incredible distraction, you know, for all of us who are doing amazing, noble work in the world. We're like, oh no, I'm not disconnecting from myself. I'm taking care of everybody else. It's one of the sort of like martyr loopholes that we can just lose ourselves completely in, and self-sacrifice and not really, because checking in is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because when we slow down to hear what hurts, we hear it louder. And then we're actually maybe accountable to do something about it. We're also empowered to do something about it. It's the same thing. You just decide which, now that I know, now I can do something about it.
Exactly.
Now that I know, now I have to do something about it.
I feel like for me, one of the biggest pros of meditating, one of the reasons that like thought, oh, I am not giving this up. Like, 'cause I had to kind of be convinced, and it started because I did it for 2 weeks straight for 4 minutes a day. And I said, I'm doing it for 2 weeks straight, 4 minutes a day. And if I don't see something that changes in my life, then I'm not going to feel guilty about not meditating. And I'm not going to, like, it, it is what it is. I'm going to let it go and do it when I want. So I did it for 2 weeks straight, and I had this very huge shift in my life, and like something that I experienced in a classroom when I was teaching little kids, because kids are like mirrors, so they pick up on all this stuff. And then I thought, oh, this is fun. Like, it is like taking some sort of like magic pill that gives you these superpowers. So then I would navigate. I was like, all right, let's see if this works. And so your what happens is like that inner voice and your instinct is a lot more clear. So just like you're saying, like you hear things that you don't want to hear, but you also hear things that you're like, uh, I'm being guided to do this. I don't really know exactly why, but I'm being guided to do this. And time again, that has served me. And especially when I show up to countries that I either don't speak the language and I have one address. I'm like, this is where I'm going. And I know I'm staying here for the next 2 nights. But other than that, like, not entirely sure what else is going to happen. And that meditation, I could never have traveled the way I have traveled in my life if I didn't meditate. Because I need to be able to pick up on things um, in that information, and you can't pick up on that other information until you're picking up on your own body information.
I love that you brought that up, because what I feel like the last 2.5, 3 months have been is a journey traveling in totally uncharted territory
Mm-hmm.
of my studio apartment, right? Like I am on a, trip around the world in quarantine with my human. I have a 5-year-old human, and we share this open space together.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel the same way. It's like, yeah, there's only one little piece of information, but we have to navigate it. And I'm going to own this. I've only listened to 2 of your 59 4-minute meditations, but I want to take on the challenge for doing it every single day for the next 2 weeks. And I want to invite everyone who watches this and listens to this to just drop a comment if you're up for the challenge. And you can tell us it doesn't work. You can tell us it's changed your life. You can tell us that you've discovered all sorts of discomfort. You can tell us whatever.
Yeah.
But that communication and that sort of accountability to self as an experiment, right? Just because this changed Leah's life doesn't mean it's going to change everybody's life. But I've found, and because I do have other mindfulness practices, I've really found that the unparalleled uncertainty of this time, I've been really chill, really willing, playful, open. I'm in Colombia, and every 3 weeks they've been like, okay, we're going to just sort of close things down for 3 more weeks, and then 3 more weeks. And then and they're starting to whisper about opening things up. And I'm just like, no, Eden and I are, we're hanging in through August at least, right? I'm not going anywhere. I'm just playing with this space and this time, and yeah, yeah, we cry, we throw fits, we make messes, we clean them up. Um, and it's been a whole other kind of presence, mindfulness experience. But I'm going to brush my teeth every day, so to speak.
Boom. There you go.
Um,
It's awesome. And
yeah.
it'll be, I'm really excited to see what you all experience. Um, I've been getting feedback from people who tell me when they do it 6 days in a row. I just talked to somebody earlier who I work with who did it 12 days in a row, and
Mm,
he's very hyper. Like he's, the fact that he even sits for that long is, I'm not sure how it happens, but
yeah,
it's amazing what the results are.
that's awesome.
And it's just
I,
environment.
well, and 4 minutes, right? This is the thing. I remember, I think you were the first person who was like 4 minutes, because everybody else is like 30 minutes, 60 minutes. I was like, who has that? Who has 60 minutes? I don't have 60 minutes for anything,
Yeah.
right? Um,
And
and
you know what's
I
funny is that
do, the 4 minutes feels really doable. Go ahead.
um I did 4 minutes because I told myself, you know what, I'm gonna do 5 minutes, and I was like, that's too long. I won't stick to it. And I was like, 4 minutes. So I
Yeah,
started doing it, and this kind of just like came to me.
yeah.
And it was during a time that my mom was very sick. Yeah, I was in therapy. My mom was super sick, and it was before she passed away. But so I went to my therapist and I told her, I was like, I'm kind of like off the cuff, was like, I'm meditating every day for 4 minutes a day. She goes, how many minutes? I go, four. She goes, that makes sense. Over 3 minutes a day, you start to change your brain chemistry. I
Mm.
was like, oh, saved by the 60 seconds.
Well, and that's it. The sweet spot of like, you need a little, but you don't need, and 60 minutes is amazing. But if,
You know, so is getting your teeth cleaned at the dentist. But you're
yeah,
not doing that every day.
right. And I do a lot of micro shifts. I work with clients and I'm like, what's the smallest thing you can do? Not the biggest. Set yourself something that's actually doable every single day. And
Mm-hmm.
so 4 minutes, uh, I'm committing to this right now. I'm going to comment on this live every single day just to say that I did it. Because if
Yes.
I don't, I know that I'm going to not do it.
Yeah, and it's hard. I mean, trust me, I am not used to recording myself. I mean, I meditate every day,
Yeah.
but taking the time to like do a guided meditation, like that's part of it too. Is like I'm just a human. I'm just a girl, like woman, who's in quarantine too. And
Yeah.
but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do the best I can with what I got because that's what I'm asking other people around me to do.
Yeah.
That's all.
I love it. And that's it. That's all. That's all there is. That's all any of us can ever, ever, ever do.
Yeah, and there's no judgments. Like, I work in a prison. Like, I think about this a lot. Like, judgments versus not. Like, it's not powerful. It's really shame is. Oh no.
Mm. I'm here. You okay?
Okay. Oh, perfect.
We're good.
Perfect. Hold on.
Yeah, things are techie.
Wait.
We're good.
I don't see you though.
I can see you.
Okay.
Just roll with it, boo.
Okay. I'm going.
Okay.
But I think in the prison when you I invite the kids that I work with and the adults to just try to let go of the judgments, and until you stop hurting yourself you won't stop hurting other people.
Mm,
So that's the
yeah.
first, it starts here.
Yeah.
And so, and you can't even know if you're hurting yourself if you're not even aware of the thought. And then your mind is your most powerful muscle. So
Yeah.
you can't even know what's hurting or harming you if you're too intertwined and you're not able to sort of step back and take a moment. And that stepping back, when you can practice that on a daily basis, then you can then reintroduce it throughout your day and then have more mindful moments throughout the day. And like,
Yeah.
it's just easier.
Yeah. Mm. Ooh, I love it. How's your Spanish? I can't remember.
Necesita visitar Colombia y
Okay.
practicar.
Because I just had this idea, and maybe this, I'm going to sit on this before I'm going to say it out loud, but before I claim it to be true.
uh,
There's a community here in Medellin, and maybe I can make the same promise, is to hold a 4-minute meditation in Spanish every day.
well, that'd be amazing.
I'm going to feel into that and see if I can actually hold that commitment for 2 weeks. But yeah, I think that might be possible.
I feel like if you do, once you do it for your 2 weeks, you'll be able to like take all the kind of your own like notes and take my meditations into like
Yeah.
make them your own. And
Well,
then,
and at the beginning of every women's circle, we do a grounding, visualization, meditation, body scan. You know, you and I both have this yoga background. I do it all the time. And I even did one yesterday with the UN staff members. Um, Before I even started, I said, like, I've got a presentation for you, but where are you? What do you need right now? And that's, they were like, how do you handle all this stress and this pressure of like taking care of 4.2 million Venezuelan refugees? I was like, good question.
yeah,
And so we did just a grounding, like the who am I and where are my boundaries, meditation, visualization. And one of the programs that I had built when you were part of the yoga studio is how to guide yoga and meditation in Spanish. So I haven't been practicing it every day for the last 3 years, but it's in there somewhere
got it. Yeah,
because
yeah.
I wrote the curriculum once
That's
upon a time. Okay, I feel good about that. I might, I'll let y'all know if I'm going to follow through on that promise, but I'm
Even
definitely
if you
going,
just do it, even if you just have a couple of videos and you shoot a couple of
yeah.
videos of it and guide
Mm.
people through it, then they have access to it.
And before we wrap up, so if anyone's up for joining me on the 2-week challenge, you're going to drop in your link, and we've shared it elsewhere, but we'll drop it in the comments here, and you can just sign up and have a 4-minute meditation sent to you every day. And Leah's not selling anything. She's here offering you stuff. This is just us giving because we all add value and we all thrive and grow when we connect and bring what we got. So that's why I brought her in this week. And my darling, is there anything else you want to share or say before we wrap up?
Sign up for those 4-minute meditations, 4minutesaday.org.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks so much, Sierra.